Welcome to NFL Talk. I'm Liam.
Hey everyone, I'm Olivia.
And we're diving deep into one of the wildest games of the week. The Eagles squeaking by the Jaguars 28-23.
Yeah, that final score really doesn't tell the whole story though, does it?
Not even close. There were so many big plays, momentum swings, and just like edge-of-your-seat moments.
Well, let's start with the guy who pretty much stole the show, Saquon Barkley.
Oh, man. Where do we even begin with him? He was unstoppable.
159 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns.
And that hurdle.
Don't even get me started on that hurdle. Like, how did he even do that?
Seriously, it was like he was playing Madden out there, breaking tackles, juking defenders, and then just casually hurdling backwards over a guy.
It was unbelievable. And that play set up a crucial field goal for the Eagles, you know?
Gave him some early momentum, for sure.
And it wasn't just the big plays. It's the consistency he brings to that Eagles offense. He's a threat every time he touches the ball.
You know, one guy who had a quieter game but came up huge when it mattered most was Nakobe Dean.
Oh, yeah. His game-saving interception.
First of his career, by the way.
You know, talk about making a statement. He was kind of under the radar for most of the game, and then, boom, he just shuts down the Jaguars' comeback hopes.
It's those clutch plays that really separate the good from the great, you know?
Absolutely.
But as much as we want to celebrate the Eagles, we got to talk about those missed opportunities, too. Like going 0 for 2 on 4th down and 0 for 3 on those 2-point conversions.
Yeah, those were head scratchers for sure. It felt like every time they got close, they just couldn't seal the deal.
You got to wonder if those missed conversions kept the Jaguars in the game.
It definitely gave them some life.
Now, to be fair, Coach Sirianni did own up to those questionable calls after the game.
Yeah, that accountability is important. I think it shows he's willing to learn and adapt.
And let's not forget about the offensive fireworks on both sides. I mean, DeVonta Smith's one-handed touchdown catch.
Oh, man, that was a thing of beauty. Pure athleticism and focus.
Seriously? Like, how do you even catch a ball like that?
And Jalen Hurts was clearly hyped about it, too. You could see the excitement on his face after that play.
And speaking of quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence had a solid game himself. 2 rushing touchdowns, and he really kept the Jaguars in it until the very end.
He's got that never-give-up attitude, which is great to see. Even when they were down, he kept fighting, making plays, and trying to rally his team.
It's easy to forget that this Jaguars team is still young. They've got a lot of potential, and Lawrence is a big part of that.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of turning points, Barkley's fumble was a huge one.
Yeah, he coughed it up, and the Jaguars capitalized on it big time. Scored a touchdown off that turnover, and it really shifted the momentum for a while.
It's crazy how one play can completely change the feel of a game.
Speaking of crazy, did you realize that was the first time the Eagles scored points in the first quarter all season?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, they've got such a high-powered offense, you'd think they'd be putting up points right out of the gate.
Right. It's just weird to think about. And then you have Doug Peterson returning to Philly to face his former team.
Always adds an extra layer of intrigue, right?
Definitely. And sadly for Doug, he's now 0-2 against the Eagles.
Well, they say it's tough to beat your old team.
Yeah, well, he'll have another shot at them later this season.
That rematch is going to be must-see TV.
Oh, absolutely. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we got to talk about those injuries. Both teams had some key guys go down.
Yeah, those are always tough to see. And some of those could have a real impact on the rest of their seasons.
We'll definitely be keeping an eye on those situations. So this game, it had everything. Big plays, controversial calls, and enough drama to fill a whole season.
It was a classic NFL showdown.
And we're just getting started with our deep dive.
So get ready, folks. We're about to break this game down even further.
Buckle up, because things are about to get interesting.
That early field goal after Barkley's run, you know, it felt like that really set the tone for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. I think it gave them a huge boost of confidence. Like they knew they could move the ball against that Jaguars defense.
And it kind of put the Jaguars on their heels a bit, don't you think?
For sure. They didn't really seem to recover until later in the game.
It's funny how one play can have such a ripple effect throughout the game.
Momentum is everything in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see that the Eagles just never really panicked. Even when the Jaguars started to come back, they stayed composed.
Yeah, they've got that veteran leadership, and I think that really showed in this game.
And of course, we can't talk about the Eagles without mentioning Jalen Hurts.
He's been playing lights out this season.
Making smart decisions, spreading the ball around, and using his legs when he needs to.
He's become a real dual-threat quarterback.
And his chemistry with DeVonta Smith is just getting better and better.
That touchdown connection was unreal.
Like a video game. Hurts put it right where only Smith could grab it.
And Smith made an incredible catch.
It's scary to think how good that duo could be.
But let's not forget about the Jaguars' offense either. Trevor Lawrence is starting to look like the real deal.
Those 2 rushing touchdowns were impressive.
He's got that escapability and playmaking ability that you just can't teach.
And he never gives up, even when things aren't going his way.
You can see the fire in him. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous.
He's got that it factor for sure.
It's interesting to see how both of these quarterbacks are developing. Hurts kind of came out of nowhere, and Lawrence had all the hype coming in.
And they're both proving their worth in different ways.
It just goes to show that there are multiple paths to success in the NFL.
And let's not forget about the coaches either. Sirianni and Peterson both have their own unique styles.
Yeah, Sirianni is definitely more animated on the sidelines.
But Peterson has that quiet confidence that seems to inspire his players.
It's like a chess match between them trying to outsmart each other.
And at the end of the day, both teams played their hearts out.
It was a hard-fought game, and you got to give credit to both sides.
The Eagles got the win, but the Jaguars proved that they're not a team to be taken lightly.
This game really had it all, and it just makes you appreciate how unpredictable the NFL can be.
Every week is a new adventure.
You know what I love about the NFL? Every single game is like a story waiting to be told.
It's true, and this game was no different. It had all the elements you could ask for.
You had Barkley's breakout performance, Dean's redemption moment, Lawrence proving he's not giving up, and even Pedersen's return to Philly.
It's amazing how these narratives intertwine and create such a compelling spectacle.
That's why we love this sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
The unpredictability, the passion, the sheer athleticism.
And it makes you wonder what's next for these teams and these players. Where do they go from here?
Exactly. Will Barkley keep this momentum going? Can Lawrence lead the Jaguars to the playoffs?
And can the Eagles stay on top of the NFC?
So many questions,
Right.
So many possibilities, and we'll be here every step of the way to break it all down.
That's right. Make sure you subscribe to NFL Talk for more deep dives into the world of football.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.